Morning, afternoon, evening. Welcome to another webisode of Wisdom Wednesdays. My name is Steve Messam, and I am excited that you have decided to join me as we take this journey of finding wisdom in everyday situations. Again, as a wisdom chaser, my goal is to push you in all you're getting, that you get wisdom and that you get understanding. So let's get to the chase. I know it's Wednesday again, and your boss is probably driving you nuts, your kids are probably running you up the wall, and Friday should have been yesterday. Hopefully today, these pearls of wisdom will help inspire and empower you to finish this week strong. And today's topic is going to be a good one, and it's going to be on vision. And when you think about vision, I would love for you to think about these two definitions. So the first one is just the sense of being able to use your eyes to see, or just think of that as eyesight. The second definition is going to be anticipating that which will or may come to be. Think of that as mind sight. So one, you can actually see with your physical eyes. The other, you actually see with your mental eyes. It's not really here yet, but you can picture it. You can vision it with your mental eyes. And today I'm going to try to convince you that if we have the right perspective on both sides, your mind sight and your eyesight, is going to help you to achieve your goals. It's also going to give you motivation to keep things in proper perspective and not to sweat the small stuff. So let's see if I can do that. Okay, so there's 3 key points to vision. And the first point is see it. We have to see the big picture and don't sweat the small things or the small stuff. So when you think about how we can actually accomplish this, we have to think big and aim small. Let's actually bring this to life. Because some people, they can actually see the same thing physically, but have a different perspective on it mentally. And think about this story here. There are 3 workers, and these 3 workers, they're all doing the same job. They're building this building. And each of those workers were asked the same question. What is it that you're building, or what is it that you're doing? So worker number 1, he responded by saying, I'm laying brick. So that's my job. I'm laying these brick on top of each other. So that same question was then posed to worker number 2. And he answered, I'm actually building a wall. So he's laying brick, but his vision on this thing is he's building a wall. So the 3rd worker was asked the same question, and he responded, I'm building a cathedral. Yet here he is laying the same brick as worker 1, worker 2 who sees this wall, but worker 3, he sees this cathedral. And that's what thinking big but aiming small is all about. Sometimes when we think big, however, it can seem so overwhelming. We may have this big idea or this big vision for our lives, and it's so hard to just comprehend how we're going to accomplish it. So I'll pose to you what I got from this one story I heard, where someone asked the question, how do you eat an elephant? Obviously this elephant is huge, and you're probably trying to say how I'm going to cook it, how I'm going to cut it up, but let's just get back to the basic. You eat an elephant one bite at a time. So in order to achieve this big picture mentality, or this big picture goal, you have to take one step at a time. You think big like worker 3. You see this cathedral that you're building, even though today you're laying this brick. You know it takes that brick laying in order you to enjoy your cathedral. So it's one step at a time. So that's how we think big, but we aim small. Okay, let's break down this mind sight versus eyesight, or big picture perspective versus small picture perspective. Now your eyesight or small picture perspective, it sees, or it's driven by things that are happening around you or the outside of you, so your outer self. But your mind sight, big picture perspective, that's driven by what's inside of you or your inner self. Or eyesight, it sees the raw materials. It sees the lumber, it sees the cement, the tools, the nails, the hammers, all those raw materials. But your mind sight, it sees the finished product. It sees your cathedral. It sees your mansion. A better way to kind of put this thing all together, mind sight is just your ability to see the finished product mentally before you can see it physically. If you don't know by now, you have God-given raw materials on the inside of you. And if you see things with the proper perspective, you'll be able to turn what may seem like on the outside as broken pieces with your eyesight into a masterpiece that you see with your mind sight. But how do we do it? How do we get what we see physically with our eyesight to comprehend and understand what we see mentally with our mind sight? Well, that leads us to point number 2, which is write it. We have to capture the vision and keep things up front. Writing down the vision helps us to bridge the mind sight or mental vision to our eyesight or physical vision. So write down the vision, make it simple. I'm a wisdom chaser, and I'm chasing wisdom in all places, whether it's on social media sites, in books, movies, TV shows, face-to-face interactions, you name it. And one of the books that I keep in heavy rotation when it's come to chasing wisdom is the Bible. And over 2,500 years ago, there was a Hebrew prophet by the name of Habakkuk, and he actually quoted to write the vision, make it plain on tablets. You didn't know folks was rocking iPads and sticky notes and all those things back then. I'm just joking, but back then they had these tablets which were stones and they had words on it. But in our time and age, we need to write down our visions, write down our goals. I'm sure you've been encouraged to write your goals down and to put them in places that you see consistently, or you're always going to, whether it's on your bathroom mirror or on your car dashboard or maybe even on the refrigerator, because it's always great to have that physical reminder to reinforce that vision, to keep it up front. So to take what Habakkuk said, we need to write the vision, make it simple. So you wrote it down, now what? Well, I'm going to go back to my friend Habakkuk and finish his quote. He said, write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it. So our third and final key point for today is to chase it. And always remember that it's a marathon, not a sprint. So what's going to help us to chase this big picture vision, or this big picture or mind sight perspective? And that is to run with endurance the race set before us. We have to run with endurance. It's not a one and done thing. It's something that we're going to have to work towards on a continual basis. So how do we do that, or make sure that we accomplish this, is that we do not run aimlessly. That's why we write it down. That's why we have these reminders to keep it up front so we can continue to push. Actually, I would like to share just a personal example of how I am chasing and applying this wisdom concept of mind sight and eyesight. So I'm currently working on my very first book that I'm writing. And right now that I don't have this book for eyesight, mind sight, I definitely see this book. So it prompted me to start this Wisdom Chasers YouTube channel. It also prompted me to start my Facebook author page. And with that page, I'm constantly uploading videos, I'm doing status updates, I'm doing pictures. So every day when I'm on there and I see Steve Messam, author, it's just giving me that one step after the next. I'm laying the bricks to make sure that I am reinforcing that visual reminder, because I wrote down that vision and now I'm chasing it. So let's do what athletes do. I know that physical training, because I am a former athlete, physical training is not comfortable. There's a lot of pain. I didn't like running up and down stadium steps. I didn't like flipping over an 18-wheeler tire. I didn't like all the laps and all the pain. But I had the big picture perspective. I knew it was preparing me to chase after that cathedral, that win, that championship. And that's what we need to do with our big picture, our vision. We need to stay up late. We need to wake up early. We need to put in extra time. We need to make sacrifices. I tell you this, that it may not seem like it's fair. You may be uncomfortable, but it sure will be worth it. Okay, here's our big takeaway with chasing. Delayed gratification, not instant satisfaction. Guys, instant satisfaction is only temporary, but delayed gratification is a lasting reward. we have to put in the work. And delayed does not mean denied. Keep the faith, because faith is what you hope for through your actions, through chasing. Because for faith without chasing, it's dead. So guys, you gotta have the faith, because here's what delayed gratification will give you. Today, you're laying bricks. Tomorrow, you're enjoying your cathedral. Today, you're buffing plates, but tomorrow, you're enjoying your own establishment. Today, you may be riding the bench or second screen, but tomorrow, you will be leading your team. So don't run away from that big picture. Run after it. Guys, that's all I have for you today. Hopefully you have some pearls of wisdom that will help you get over that hump and finish your week strong. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also check me out over on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. With that, guys, have a blessed day. Until next week, be well. Peace.